Welcome to another episode of the Counterculture Podcast. I'm your host, Christian, along with my great friend and co-host, Taylor.
What's up?
And how's it going, man?
It's going good, man. We just made it through another Halloween.
Mm.
So for those who don't know,
We did.
Halloween is at my house.
It
so
is.
You and your kiddos were there.
Yes.
And I love hosting. If I could host every holiday at my house, I would definitely do that. So, but unfortunately, I just have the one. And I mean, for those who don't know, Halloween typically is on a school night. So unfortunately, it ends so early, you know. Kids got to get back to get freshed up for school. Otherwise, it'd be so much longer, so much more fun. But yeah, so Halloween came and went. It was good.
It was a successful Halloween.
I liked your kids' costumes. They all were in sync.
Yes. The kids, my kids this year were Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy. They looked very cute, but none of you get to see. You can just imagine three cute kids. And
Actually, it's probably best if you don't try to imagine it. That's weird too. But
yeah, actually, yeah, that's weird. Yeah, don't do that. If you do that,
don't
I don't
picture
know.
as kids. You
Yeah,
pervert.
that's weird. What do you think this is?
What do you what do you think
Started
it is?
thinking about the video you showed me from that podcast with Stephen Hawking.
Oh my gosh.
Take me
Yeah,
to the
so
island. To the island.
Yeah, the Halloween's just you and me walking around my neighborhood, drinking beer, pushing strollers while everybody else is running around. So it's not too bad.
I enjoy it. I do look forward to it because it's very low key.
It's chill.
And your neighborhood is really perfect for
It's the right size to make the loop.
exactly. Right? It's not too long, right? And I mean we're done within like an hour, just a little over an hour.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
By the time we start 6:15, 6:30ish, it's daylight. And then by the time we finish, it's like right at the 8 o'clock mark or something right there.
Yeah.
Kids get to come back, sort through candy, and then kind of wind down and leave. But yeah. And it's not like you have to zigzag or pick your path. No, we literally go around my little section.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's perfect. And also shout out, right? Your wife Brittany made some killer chili. It was very good. Was it with turkey, ground turkey meat?
No.
Was it beef?
Yeah, so that one's beef and then spicy breakfast sausage.
Interesting.
The
I always appreciate everyone's little intricacies of what they do for their chili. You know what I mean?
yeah, the last 4 chilies we've done have been with 4 or 5 chilies. I make her make it pretty often, even in the summer. Sometimes I start craving chili. Yeah. My favorite meal, like death row, if I get to pick one, it's Frito pie. Like, I don't know what it is. I'm just a human dumpster fire. I don't know. I love Frito pie. I've been eating it every day since she's made it.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. And the funny thing is, the week before Halloween, she made it for me and her.
Nice.
So it wasn't that much time had passed to make
And you were
chili
like,
again.
yes, thank you.
But the weather was nice and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, great. We had a great Halloween, right?
But
it was just cold enough.
Because of it going hot and cold, I'm kind of under the weather. So if you hear me coughing, I'll try to do it off to the side, but just bear with me. Man, I've been having these coughing fits. My wife's pretty much kicking me out of the bed because I'll start coughing because I'm laying down, which is worse than sitting up. And it's just that tickle. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Just gets you right.
So
right
I'll
in
try.
here.
Half the time, if you try not to cough, it ends up getting worse. Mm-hmm. And then you're vein popping because you're trying to hold it in. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, another successful Halloween in the books, and I mean it was a good one. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. Again, yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's usually on a school night, so it doesn't go late, which is good.
God bless.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, but I guess before we jump into it, make sure you like and subscribe. Right, hit the notification bell at the bottom. Right, so you get notified when we actually post something. And also you can go on Apple and Spotify. You can find us if you prefer audio, right? If you're a podcaster, right? You can listen to the audio of us rambling on about ridiculous stuff.
Yeah.
And
Some people just prefer the sound of her voice.
they do.
It's almost as current as the YouTube. So.
Almost, not quite. And yeah, some people prefer the podcast. I mean, my family has always told me I have a face for radio, so I can understand that. And so yeah, I do that, and then leave a 5-star rating there as well, right? So we can see what's going on. I actually haven't checked Apple Podcasts or Spotify in a long time to see if we have any reviews. probably don't, but it's okay. Even if you'd like. So, but we got, a couple of things we want to talk about today, and I think it's gonna be good. The first thing, right? Speaking of costumes and dressing up and pretending, the first one is this is actually something that happened a couple weeks ago. Okay. But I have to mention it because it is another, feather in the hat of the many accomplishments that men have done in the long span of time.
Okay.
Right? It's just another feather in the cap for men.
Like a pimp.
Similar, yes. Okay. Dylan Mulvaney was awarded Woman of the Year by Attitude Magazine in London. Okay. And this is now the second man to win Woman of the Year, right, in recent history. Obviously, Caitlyn Jenner was the first man, right, to win Woman of the Year. And really, when women talk about, or feminists talk about the patriarchy, right, it's things like this that tells me maybe they are right. Because only in a patriarchal society could a man make a better woman than a woman herself.
It's like reverse psychology.
Exactly.
Hashtag reverse Uno, we win.
Yeah, hashtag men are better than women.
Yeah, there's not a lot of women listeners, so that's probably pretty.
Yeah,
cool.
Exactly, right? Because men are just better, apparently, right?
Just keep digging that hole.
Yeah, absolutely, right? I'm gonna milk that for all it's worth. But it's really, I find it just so ironic that again we're at this point where we're doing this stuff like this.
But does it surprise you though?
Oh no,
no. It's laughable now because you almost see it coming.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's just funny, of course, because part of it is like before seeing the story about that, I had never heard of Attitude Magazine, right? So for themselves, they got themselves a little bit more notoriety, right? Because of course it's controversial, right? Mm-hmm. And they know that, right? They know in doing that it's controversial. What I found more interesting was in Dylan's speech when he was talking about the acceptance, accepting the award. I listened to just a very short tidbit of it, and what's so funny is what he was saying in regards to people that don't see him as a woman. All right, first off, he talked about how it was day like 500 and something of womanhood or girlhood or whatever, right? Which is very strange, right?
Does he have a new birthday or something too?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know. But one of the things he opened up with is he talked about how, no matter how many or what did he say? He said, no matter what clothes I wear or what I look like or how many surgeries I get, I will never be the standard of woman that these hateful people, have, or something like that. Now, granted, of course, he's setting that parameter, right? Just to virtue signal and saying, if you disagree with me, you're an evil bigot, sort of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, clearly you're doing this for you. You're doing this for your own mental health. So what does it matter what everybody else thinks?
Well, sure.
You know what I mean? I could proclaim that I'm like the world's best skateboarder, but no matter what you do, there's always going to be haters and doubters.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're saying, that virtue signaling, just because you're putting this womanhood thing on it, like it doesn't matter what you do. There's going to be people out there who are going to like hate on you.
Oh yeah. No matter what you do.
So,
and
try all you want. I don't care.
Yeah. Right. But it's funny because of course, again, it's the way that he frames this. It's quite masterful, right? To frame it in a sense where, again, those who disagree with me are evil and bigoted and all this kind of stuff. And what's fascinating to me, again, when it comes to the Dylan Mulvaney thing is, again, it's the idea that simply changing your wardrobe and going through thousands of dollars of cosmetic surgery is your way of quote unquote becoming a woman, right? And again, it's like, I'm just, it just baffles me, right? That for the people that are willing to to get along with that kind of stuff, are willing to accept that is all that womanhood is defined as, is again, just the clothes you wear and getting surgeries to make yourself look more feminine, right? And that is what will equal becoming a woman. You know what I mean?
I don't know. The logic is flawed.
Yeah.
Because if you're born a woman, then you're already a woman. Why need surgery? Or, there's like different arguments to be had.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the funny thing about the whole, alphabet soup, group anyway, right? The argument for children needing to go through, hormonal, changes. Right. It's, well, if they already are.
And they already feel like one.
Why do they need to go through these life-altering surgeries to do that if they already are? Like the math's not mathing.
Right.
The math's not adding up. And so it's just, so yeah. So again, the story is a couple weeks old. It happened a few weeks ago. But I just wanted to talk about it partially. Obviously we didn't record last week, but it's just, it really shows you where we are right now as a culture, where again, these are the things that are happening, and we're just so delusional to reality in a lot of ways. And we're delusional even though like things around us are getting a little nutty.
Yeah.
Right, like we were talking about last time.
To be honest, though, it's almost like America needed a wake-up call. We didn't have enough to like worry about that we started making problems out of nothing.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've been asleep at the wheel for decades. I mean, you and I have talked about this. It's just like, America is number one. America's on top of the world, so just we don't need to pay attention. But unfortunately, that meant within. There's like just things starting to rot, and just didn't care because everything was so great, right? I mean, through the 80s and 90s and 2000s, right? I mean,
it's becoming obese as a country.
Yeah.
Like metaphorically.
Yeah.
And literally too. But yeah. Like we're just kind of wasting away and killing ourselves on, and basically being gluttonous with everything from media and wants and unfortunately capitalism, but the negative side of it. And
yeah.
It was about us and want more, and then more rights, more freedoms, or hear me whine about this. And the rest of the world is preparing. The rest of the world is watching and, getting ready. China starts making moves, Russia, different things like this. And it kind of starts to make you like, oh, well, nothing's going to happen. Because to be honest, I mean, we haven't had a major conflict except, from far away or in the Middle East. The sandbox has always been one thing, but,
the sandbox.
Countries that people typically like can more relate to, or they hear about like Russia or Europe or this or France, it feels a little bit closer to home. When you hear stuff like, unfortunately, as Americans, Iraq, Iran, you're just like, okay, it's just another day. What's going on there now? And, it's crazy because last night we started rewatching, what is it? The 12 Benghazi or 13 Benghazi? It's the...
13 hours.
Is it 13 hours?
Yeah, with John Krasinski.
Secret Soldiers of Benghazi, whatever. Yeah. Started watching that one, and it starts to make you think, like, because they're talking about Gaddafi and everything. And then it's funny watching it in a way now because of everything's going on with Palestine and Israel and all that. And you're like, these things aren't new. These things have been happening. We've had a presence in, on or off, but, the fact that these other countries are ramping up and choosing sides and all that, I mean, this could get ugly. So as we're dealing with this and trying to focus and have some semblance of like normalcy for like Halloween and for the sake of our families, and try to like, I don't want to sound morbid, but you don't know if we're going to be here a year from now. You don't know if the people controlling the world are going to push the buttons and doom us all, So if we can at least focus on our kids and try to give them the best life we can while protecting them, I think it's important. But, then something pops up like this Dylan Mulvaney thing, and you're just like, you know what? Real problems is starting to happen. Like, I could care less.
Yeah.
But a year and a half ago, we had nothing better to do than talk about or fixate on it or
Yeah.
rant and rave and debate about it. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, to my point, are starting to get over it.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, I mean, for me, I just want to talk about it because of how ridiculous it is. But I think you make a good point that I think, again, more and more individuals, whether in the United States or
I didn't hear about it though.
abroad. Oh, well, yeah.
Even being on like social media and everything. But I'm not saying like for you bringing it up wasn't a good idea. I'm saying it's funny because I think we're slowly swinging that pendulum back the other direction to kind of things that are bigger and more important.
Yeah.
Because it didn't even come across my radar.
Right.
I hadn't heard about that at all. So, I think there's less clickbaiting on it. There's less retweeting or sharing or reposting.
Yeah. Well, it's more about, like you said, I mean, like real life stuff, whether it's like conflict that maybe is feeling a little more closer to home with Palestine and Israel, like being more intense than normal. I mean, it's been something that's been going on for a while. It's not new. But then also, again, things for the average person is getting harder and harder every day. I mean, the feds, I think they didn't increase interest rates, right? But they're talking about probably having to do it anyway, here soon, right? To try to slow down inflation. So the cost of things is going to continue to rise.
Yeah, but I was also going down that rabbit hole the other day, and they're like, yeah, it's a double-edged sword. The Fed can raise interest rates to try to slow down or stifle inflation a little bit. That only works if you stop sending and spending billions of dollars.
Right.
So, great, you do that, but then you're sending money to Ukraine and
everywhere else,
Israel, or then you're just, it's like pouring gasoline on a fire. It's already going.
Right.
But on top of that, you're shooting the foot of Americans, normal Americans, with the housing market, because if inflation is going to keep going up and the value of the dollar is going down, but at the same time you're continuing to raise interest rates, so that means your dollar goes less, stretches, but the interest rates are still going up. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to be in Houston, so the housing market here is even when the like 08 and then even like 13 or 15 when we kind of had a small dip down too with the housing market, but the big 08, 09 crash or whatever, Houston's always, we may lay people off, but we're not screeched to a halt.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still producing everything here, but the worry is going to be that there's going to be a pop.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the trends? They're just talking about the used car market is coming down now.
No.
The value of used cars and everything else.
Really?
Yep. So, I mean, I don't know. It's scary. Now's the time to unload any assets or liabilities that you don't need.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2-car payments, and I've been thinking about it too. Like, it's a 2-car payment situation that's not where you want to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it's I think it's just the best thing to do is just focus on being intentional with where you spend your time and your resources.
Yeah.
Right. Just and really, whether times are good or bad, I think it's good to do that.
Yeah, you can get hit by a bus tomorrow, and the world's at complete peace. So obviously you want to. What's the word? You don't want to make your bed, but you want to leave things like any day could be your last. So you've made amends with everything.
Right.
You're living life to its fullest each and every day. You're not holding anything back. But yeah, when times are in turmoil like this, even more so.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I don't know, man. It's scary. We're in a scary time right now. Like, they're talking about threat level of another 9/11 attack was on American soil is higher than it's ever been in the recent years. But they're saying that it wouldn't be another like 9/11 style. That'd be more innovative, is what people are speculating. People and the 3-letter agencies are coming out and they're talking about how they've stopped a couple threats, when they were trying to bring the fluids on the plane and stuff like that. But yeah, that they said if there was going to be another attack, it'd be more innovative. And so you start to think about that, and then you think about all these fighting age men that are coming over from all different corners of the world through our southern border, so much so that it took the state level, and I sent this to you the other day too.
Yeah.
Since the federal government is otherwise preoccupied, I don't know asleep at the wheel, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the 50 states, 25 got together. All the governors convened, and they're sending local law enforcement and National Guard to the southern border to defend it. The states had to do it at a state level. 25, I would have understood if 5 governors got together and teamed up, but 25? So, I mean, if you want to talk about majority, that's it right there.
Well, and this is where, again, you had sent me that video that was Governor Abbott talking. That's what I'm telling you, man. This 2024 is going to be
wild.
It's going to be fucking.
He's in Houston right now.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention. I actually watched a little bit of President Trump's talking.
Did you?
Yeah, we watched.
I was trying to avoid those roads, so I took the 99 all the way around.
Yeah. He was apparently at where the Spring Creek barbecue is, right there off 249, close to Spring Cypress.
Okay, yeah.
There's a little manufacturing plant, like right there, or whatever. Not plant, but a little manufacturing company right there. That's where he did his speech or whatever.
Right there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, apparently that's what I think that's what it was. But, he's a comedian, man. Like we watched, like Christina and I listened to like 5-10 minutes of him talking.
Was it like 4 o'clock or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. And we're just listening to him talk. He's just clowning, man. Like he's just a comedian. Like he's so funny, dude. Like I will never not find Trump funny. Like he's always funny.
Yeah, that's for sure. Especially, I mean, he's just got so many of these like quotable one-liners. Like,
yeah.
And I say to her, bye bye.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You just can quote it all day long.
Yeah, I mean, he's just hilarious. You just. It's just like it's like the little things he says. Like he was talking about, like there's some politicians there. He's like, right here in the front row. Well, no, they're not in the front row. But hey, like they got some good seats though. They got some good seats. It's like what are you talking about, dude? He's funny, man. He cracks me up. I don't care what anyone says ever. I'll always find him funny.
So DeSantis is out. Is that what I'm hearing? I wasn't keeping up with it.
I don't know.
And
man.
then yesterday was like a poll day for, I guess, some of the amendments or something that Texas was trying to do.
I didn't see anything about.
My father-in-law was sending
locally
to a group, but it was about the constitutional amendments for the Texas Constitution or something.
I know there's amendments that are being considered. I just can't remember what they were.
Yeah, but I think it was a polling day for it though. Anyways.
Oops. Sorry. Yeah. I think you're right, but I can't remember. What's funny though is oh no shit, what were we talking about before the poll thing? I can't remember. Well, that's what happens. You're drinking bourbon.
Blackland, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean,
it's no.
I liked
Buffalo
it when it was
Trace.
at a lower price point.
It's no Buffalo Trace, but
they've gotten a little high and mighty.
Yeah, a little bit. They've gotten high and mighty. I don't know if it's because of the fuck stick Rangers won the World Series.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
I stopped watching after we got out of the running.
I'm so pissed. I'm still butthurt about it. I don't care what anyone says. Fuck the Rangers. You know why fuck the Rangers? Just so y'all know. Okay? Not that anyone's going to really care about this. But in 2017, when Harvey happened, we asked if we could play there at Globe Life or whatever the fuck the stadium is called.
Arlington or whatever.
Yeah. And you know what they said? No, you can't. Now, the Rangers were not in the playoffs. They were out because they fucking sucked. And they told the Astros, no, go somewhere else. So the Astros ended up playing in like Florida or something. So fuck the Rangers. Okay? If you live in Dallas or live anywhere, you're a Rangers fan, you should consider rethinking your life. Because the Rangers are a bunch of assholes.
Just go find a necktie and go to your closet. I'm just kidding.
He said that, not me. You shouldn't do that.
And put it on and go get a better job because you need to do something with your life.
Yeah, you need a... Yeah, it's like Jordan Peterson. You need to slay the dragon, okay? Go conquer your world.
Go lay some pipe. Just
go lay some pipe.
Blue collar work. What are you talking about?
I mean, blue collar guys can make a lot of money, let me tell you.
That's where we're heading, man.
Hey, you know what?
College is out. Trade schools.
I'm telling you. If you have a kid that is close to graduating high school and he just doesn't seem like he's the college type, throw that kid into trade school. He will make oodles and oodles of money. I mean, he will make, buku bucks, as I like to say.
Yeah.
Like, It will. Because every day that goes by, guys like that become more valuable. They just do. Right?
Yeah, but to be honest, those are the guys that look. It's hard work for a reason. It's still blue collar. You can make good money, but you're gonna put in your time. You're gonna work the long shitty hours. You may have to travel. I did it for a time.
But you still make good money though. You still make good money.
But it's hard to, I don't want to say bed down. That sounds more sexual, but it's hard to like lay roots. It's hard to have a steady relationship.
It's hard to lay pipe.
No, I'm just kidding. There's a will for that. There's always a way, but I don't recommend those outlets. It's dirty. But no, like it's hard to have a serious relationship when you're traveling, when you're long distance, when you're all that, when you want to start a family.
It can be tough. Yeah.
But you find the right person, the right spouse, you can make it work. You do 2 on, 2 off or something like that. You work offshore. But if you're a welder, a lot of times you're traveling. You're going to be following a pipeline and you're only coming back for a couple of days and going back out. But again, it's like the welders who are making really, really good money.
They're making a lot of money.
But just take the oil and gas for the welding out of the way. Like if we're talking even just plumbers.
Oh, yeah.
Plumbers are starting to make really good money. And the thing about plumbers is you become like the apprentice and then become like, what do they call it? Like a master?
Journeyman, then master.
Yeah. But you get all the way up to there and eventually you save enough on the side that all you do is start your own plumbing company.
Mm-hmm.
You work for yourself and eventually get 1 or 2 guys and eventually you get 6 trucks on the road and you don't do it anymore. All
of a sudden, you're Bradbury Brothers here in Houston. You got fucking oodles of cash. I just think
I work with. I know you work with trades too.
Yes,
but I've been working with trades for a long time. I see them rise up from bricklayer to running their own brick crew, and the trucks you see them driving most of the time are not their after hours trucks. They have, and every now and then they'll come in and like drop invoices off, and they're in like their nice ride.
You're dude, like, oh, I see you now, like you dickhead.
Like $150,000 like trucks, like just
they got like the platinum GMC Denali,
King Ranch Denali, like custom made, with 6 wheels from Hennessy and Katie, like who knows?
Yeah, you're like you dick.
But yeah, they're doing pretty good, and they started from the bottom.
Hell yeah, dude. Plumbers. Let me tell you something. If you haven't, anyone that's hired a plumber recently knows, bro. Even if you get like a drain like unclogged or whatever, they're gonna be there for 30 minutes. You're gonna lay down $250-$300. Okay, like you gotta have it done, right? But they're gonna get you. They're gonna get you because you can't do it and they can. So I'm not even saying they're bad people,
and but it's not necessarily hard work. If you're willing to learn and trial by fire and
not really necessarily trial by fire, but if you're willing to just put like to what you were saying, put in the work, and also for a lot of it, especially like Gen Z.
I'm just talking about like your own home repairs. You're able to do it. There's a reason why like it took him 30 minutes. It may take you an hour and a half, and you're gonna cuss and don't have the right tools, and you might get shit on you. You may think you fixed it, and then you test it, and it starts leaking, and then you're back to the drawing board. But guess what? You can do it. But there's a reason why he can do it in 15 to 30 minutes and you're paying $200. Mm-hmm. You're paying for his time.
For convenience.
You're paying for his experience as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's the reason why, like you said, obviously you helped teach me how to hang ceiling fans, right? And I have a bunch of beautiful ceiling fans in my new house because of it, right?
Teach a man to fish.
That's right. But again, for a lot of people, they can't do it. So if they hire somebody, they're going to pay $150 a pop.
What was it? It's like getting your oil changed or doing your brakes on your car.
Now you can do it. It's going to take you time. You might mess it up, right? But you're going to save a lot of money.
You could die.
You might die. That is true.
Left pedal, no stop,
And you're just dead. You could be dead. It's like that, you could be just gone. But it's just the way it is, right? So I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. But
be a man, you must be swift as a coursing river. Yeah, so I think your next story was something about Kim.
Speaking of synthetic, or speaking of laying pipe, I don't know. So,
do we need to talk outside real quick? No.
Do we need a minute? Here, hold on, folks. No.
And here for another comeback story is
Oh, that's one of the best bloopers ever. Oh, dude. Chris
Parks and Rec.
Pratt doing that, so funny. Some of y'all definitely know what he's referencing. If you don't, look up Parks and Rec bloopers. And there's going to be one specifically that Chris Pratt says about Kim Kardashian. And if you're not a millennial, you may not get it. But if you're a millennial or younger, you will get it. And it is one of the funniest things I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah, that one's pretty funny. Speaking of millennials, there's another one that's out there. It's like about like 1 cup and 2 girls or something like.
Dude.
Couldn't even keep a straight face.
Dude.
Don't look that up.
Don't
look that up.
Don't. Well, if you're a millennial, you already know what that is.
It's too late. It's like blue waffle.
Dude, oh my God.
See?
2 things that scarred me.
Look.
Junior
You know why God made us strong?
Do what?
You know why God made us strong?
Why?
Because we were the generation that had to grow up with like zero censorship of the internet. So we could be prepared to protect our youth. Because now it's at the touch of their fingertips. Any and everything can get hooked up to the internet. So we need to be their knight. You know, we need to protect them. But it was like the freaking Wild West for us back then.
Dude, oh man.
There's some things you can't unsee, people.
I will never unsee that. Oh, God, dude.
So, yeah, anyways, Parks and Rec, Kim Kardashian. Okay, real quick. One of my favorite bloopers from Chris Pratt, too, from that show is when he's talking about wiping his ass. And he's like, sometimes it's down there. And it's like a Sharpie's down there.
Yeah, I
just keep wiping and wiping.
And you can see his co-star, whatever age.
Ron Swanson or whatever, I think, was the one next to him, right?
No, it's the girlfriend
Aziz
or whatever.
Ansari?
No, it's the girlfriend. And she's played by Audrey Plaza or whatever, I think is the actress's name. And you can see her like she's kind of like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dude, oh man, she is so funny. She's funny. So this is all okay. So this is a story about Kim Kardashian. Okay.
If you couldn't tell already.
Yeah, right. But what intrigued me about this story, this is something Christina had actually brought it up to me. And I found it so shout out to my wife, Christina, you're the best, right? But we like to talk about stuff whenever we see interesting articles because for, us, obviously traditional marriage, the family, that's something that's very important to us, right? We made that very clear.
Business.
Do I?
I said the family business.
The family business, yeah. It's something that's very important to us. So we made that very clear, in our time doing this podcast. And, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West were always very interesting. Or I found it interesting, right? When they got married, obviously they were together for a while. They had 4 children together. And then obviously Kanye had this very big kind of, not transition, but obviously, he came out as a very big Trump supporter that got a lot of attention. Kim Kardashian.
And then he also got very religious too.
He did get very religious, like for his recent albums. Like he doesn't allow, he doesn't have any swearing in them. They're very gospel oriented. I think even apparently, I could be wrong with this, so don't hold me to this. But apparently, if he asked guys to work on the project with him, he asked them to not watch porn or masturbate, all that kind of. He asked them to get away from that stuff while doing these sort of while being involved with the project. That may be a rumor, that may not be true. So don't hold me to that. But that's what I apparently had seen. So not only becoming much more religious in a certain aspect, but again, obviously. Very controversial figure, right? Now Kanye's always been very controversial to a certain extent, so it shouldn't be that surprising. Obviously the very famous, what was it, 07, where he interrupted,
Taylor
Gay
Swift.
Fish.
Not gay fish. The fish sticks.
What?
What is it, like a gay fish?
That's a good episode.
Such a great.
I love, Did you see the new South Park about
I
Disney?
saw clips of it.
Oh, dude.
And that's where people started talking about how iconic it was going back to
Yes, dude. That's why Trey Park. I can't remember the other creator's name.
Scott Cool or something.
Yeah. They
like
are so masterful with comedy. Still, they take shots at everyone, and that's why it's so funny.
Who's the reason why I brought up the South Park with the fish sticks and Kanye is I was watching a TikTok clip. Who's the guy that plays Barry? You've seen the show Barry or clips about it?
Michael C. No,
I think his name starts with Bill something. It's not Bill Barr. It's not Bill Maher.
Oh no, Bill Hader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was talking about how he got invited to a South Park retreat with Trey and them to help kind of write material for episodes.
Oh, really? Okay.
So they went up to like Vancouver or someplace, and they're in this nice hotel with a suite, and then they get into one room and they try to, and suddenly but he was talking about how Trey has these events planned where they want to get outside and like team building stuff, but for so they can come up with ideas and brainstorm.
Like comedians or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but it was talking about how Bill Hader is there. He's trying to come up with ideas, and then suddenly Trey's like, all right, well, I got some stuff planned. Let's all go, guys. And they ended up going to a salmon run.
Okay.
Watching the salmon go up the tubes and try to go up the stream and all that. And Bill Hader was all talking about how he thought it'd be funny, they were kind of riffing off each other. He's like, well, yeah, what if one of them got caught, but it got caught because they had a big, what is it? Big dick. I was trying to big phallus or whatever, but and he got caught, and they were like, did you say fish? And then from there, they were bouncing fish sticks, doing like that. And they're like, and the Trey stopped him. It's like, hey, wait, has anybody used that joke before? They were trying to think through TV and everything.
Right.
And no, it hasn't. So he's like, okay, great. Don't talk about it. We'll use that one. But they were like, who can we think celebrity wise who's just serious enough that joke, that the whole thing would go over their head. And Kanye was hot at the time, and Kanye was it. I just remember thinking back because I used to watch the show around that time. Kanye did not take that episode well.
No,
he got upset.
He was very,
and that was back then. To your point,
yeah,
that's T Swift Kanye. He had no filter, but he was so popular. I don't think people kind of realized that he was. I don't want to say on the spectrum, but Kanye's different. You know what I mean?
He's very unique. A very unique guy.
I think at the very least, he may have a form of Asperger's. It's some kind of social awkwardness. I'm convinced that, some of the most talented, most richest. Look at Elon. Elon is. His son is too. He talks about it.
It's not to be insulting either.
Not at all.
He's definitely on the spectrum, but that's what allows him to think differently than everyone else, and
they see things differently. They analyze
as innovative as he is, right? That's why. Elon is probably the greatest mind of the 21st century.
Yeah, he was just on Rogan again too.
I saw. Do you see what he was saying about George Soros and all that kind of stuff, dude?
No, I didn't get to that yet.
Yeah, dude, it's a good interview. Okay.
Look at us.
Yeah, typical millennial dudes, big Rogan fans. I love Joe Rogan. I love his podcast.
I just like the people he gets on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
They're always so good. I love when he has comedians on specifically. They're always, dude. It's so funny.
I was watching clips of it with Tim Kennedy on it.
Which guy?
Tim Kennedy. He's an ex-military, and they were kind of talking about.
Oh yeah, that dude's chill.
He was all talking about. Tim Kennedy or whatever was talking about. He was like, people don't have the stomach for what we need to do, And I think it goes back to those videos where they're asking all these women would you kill for your kids? And they're all saying no, I couldn't. Then you have someone like Tim Kennedy, he's on the show, and he's like, I would literally wear somebody else's skin. I will do what I will. I love this phrase. He goes, I will go scorched earth for my family.
Yes.
I'm just can do it. I'm just give me a reason.
See, you know what's funny about that? Because I have seen those kind of man on the street kind of things. Where oh no, I could never do it. I'm I don't know what you're smoking. If necessary, I will do I would do bad things to protect my family, and it's really kind of scary. Like I guess like pause for a second. Like you don't. It's kind of like a good example is Ben Shapiro's talked about this. The emotional scale that is created, or emotional spectrum that's created at the different phases of having family. Like when you're a single person, like your level of excitement gets like from a like the worst day is like down to a 2, and like the best day is like up to like a 6 or a 7
Okay.
for yourself. Then when you get married, right, it changes. Like when great things happen for your spouse, you get up to like a 10 or a 12, whatever. And then like with like when they're having something really bad happen to them, it's like you get down to a 0 or a 2. Like it's so much different when it's someone that you care about. But then when you involve, like you add the next layer of children, like the level of joy you feel like it's like infinite, but also like the level of like despair you could feel if something bad happens to them is like there's no.
Yeah, but to elaborate
bottom.
on that, I would say in regards to others or people you care about, yes. But when it comes to your own happiness or something, it's almost like that scale gets smaller.
Right, exactly.
Because it grows for others.
100,
Because
exactly.
you're removing your wants and needs almost for those other people.
Right.
Like I can remember back and being like a young male, like in college, like just how excited you get to like go out with the boys, or like for that a movie that you liked was coming out and you've waited and waited to go see it. I don't get that same level of excitement, but that emotional range is still there when it comes to things like you were talking about happiness for a spouse, or despair for a spouse, or if something happens, or you hear something happen with one of your kids at school and you're like trying not to see red. You know what I mean? It's just,
yes.
So if shit hit the fan, like it'd just be like,
no, yeah, I've already made the mental realization that, because I've never been a very violent person, and I would never want to just hurt someone, but I can see in myself,
you know, it's there.
I know that's there, that if someone did something bad to my wife or my kids, something very, very bad is going to happen to them. And it almost,
even if it kills you to do it,
it almost frightens me a little bit, because I'm like, that version of myself I've never seen, I've never witnessed up to this point in my life. And if I ever have to meet that version of myself,
people need to watch out.
That's a very scary version, because that version of me has literally nothing to lose, and someone that has nothing to lose is very scary. And so it's like,
well, it's not even like you don't even have to go that extreme. That you have nothing left to lose.
No. Yeah,
you could also
again,
be that you have
like that
everything
far,
to lose, and you're gonna do whatever it takes to protect that.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't feel that
right.
like that Punisher vibe where like you've lost everything and like,
right, yeah.
Cops better get out of my way. Like I don't care who or what you are,
right?
But you're still in that phase of like doing whatever it takes to like protect your family too. Like even like if I keep saying shit hits the fan, whatever. This episode's already got a lot of cuss words in it. But if shit did hit the fan,
I ruined that a long time ago.
and we had to bug out. I told my wife, because she's like, well, like what if people are on the side of the road asking for help? I'm like, fuck them people. She's like, what if they had a family? I'm like, I'm worried about this family.
Yeah, the answer is they should have fucking prepared, shouldn't
Well,
they?
what if they jump in front of you and they try to stop the car? I'm like, I'm not stopping.
Well, I guess, yeah.
They're like, really? You would do that? I'm like, I don't think you understand who you married. Like,
and also, I don't think you understand what you're asking. Like, if the circumstance is that bad.
Well, my wife, a lot of the times, sometimes she's like, you just seem cold. Or like, there's things you don't care about. And it's funny because we talk about family and things like that. And it's like, it's because I don't. I play nice. I'm the one that gets along with everybody. Nothing really ever makes me mad. But if I do get mad, it's like seeing red. Like I won't be able to stop. But I'm the fun one, the quiet one, Like
yeah.
That's the one you got to worry about. Not the hothead who blows up or gets upset over everything. Like those are the chihuahuas of the world.
It's all bark and no bite.
Yeah, they're the chihuahuas. You know what I mean? It's the teddy bear of a dog that the kids can pull their tail and do everything.
Yeah.
But the moment it does get angry, it's like, oh, snap. You never saw it coming. So that's what I tell my wife. I'm like, yeah, I don't care if this happened with the family. I don't care. Really? Like, how can be so? Because all I care is about this.
I don't care.
Yeah, just care about my family unit.
Yeah.
To the point where I've told me and my brother have these talks because he's ex-military and he's single, no family, no kids. So he's always talking. He goes, if anything hits the fan, he goes, I'm with y'all. I'll meet up with y'all. I'm like, okay, you're not staying with mom and dad? He goes, no. He goes, mom and dad have lived a long time. They've had a good life. He goes, but, got to help you look out for the kids.
Mm.
I'm like, okay. I said, all right, I'm not going to slow down, but if you can meet up with us, then fine, I could use the help. But I've told my wife, I'm like, we're not going to go for your family. We're not going to meet up with all of your, I'm worried about my little unit.
It's
She's
funny.
like,
I've already had that sort of situation in like a small in a small way. So I think I've told you the story before, but so during Hurricane Harvey, back to Harvey. That's funny. So during Hurricane Harvey, Christina was really pregnant with Eli.
Okay.
Right, because he was born like that November. Right.
Right.
So she's at September. Was that 7 months? Yeah, 7 months pregnant.
Yeah, so she really can move too much.
Yeah. So we're at my in-laws' house, right? And we see that the water, like the water is rising, right? But also the water receded on the roads enough, or the water hadn't come up enough on the roads where we could still leave and go up to my parents' house, which was farther north,
right? And
they had power. There was no flooding, all that kind of stuff. And so I remember I went to Christina. I'm like, we're getting the fuck out of here. We packed up all our stuff. I said we're going to my parents' house and we're leaving. I didn't think twice about it. We're going, and we ended up getting over there. And my mother-in-law has always joked about this. She's like, you didn't even consider about telling us we should leave. Now they ended up leaving, and their house ended up fine. Now the water ended up getting to the back porch, right to the back door there. So water got close, but it didn't go into the house and all that kind of stuff, obviously, and it was fine. But I told her, I said, all I could think about was Christina and protecting Christina. I couldn't think about anyone else.
Yeah, forget everybody else.
And so
my favorite movie genre
yes.
is post-apocalyptic. And you can always yell at the screen, when the main character is going to make a mistake. Don't invite that person. You can't trust nobody. But yeah.
It's like it's like the movie War of the Worlds with Tom Cruise, where they go to that guy's
the crazy guy or whatever. Right?
Yeah. Well, there is a guy, and then he another guy, stranger, hits him in the head, and it's a very strange scene.
It's a great movie, but old.
Yeah.
I got to rewatch that one. It's been a minute. But yeah, you can yell at your screen, or you could see it coming a mile away, because that's what movies do.
Mm-hmm.
They appeal to the audience. They let you see the breadcrumbs that the main characters don't. Well, guess what? In real life, you're the main character. You don't see those breadcrumbs the director's leaving through camera angles or
are we in a
foreshadowing.
Are we in a simulation?
Could be. I'd crack the Da Vinci Code there, but you don't see that. And guess what? I'm not going to f around and find out. So it's going to sound dramatic, but was it? I think the governor of Oklahoma it's Oklahoma just passed a executive order, or whatever, saying that if you see protesters or rioters on a highway or roadway, that drivers are not responsible for any I don't want to say damage, but that doesn't sound right. But anybody getting hurt, if you have to drive through a crowd of protesters.
That sounds like something Oklahoma would do.
I think it was Oklahoma, but we live in a very similar state.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody was...
Greg Abbott's kind of a pansy sometimes, but...
Yeah, but if I was fearing for my life, and you see this even recently, that elderly guy with the Palestine protesters were trying to yank that elderly man out of his car.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I'm not
surprised. That was 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you, if I see protesters in my way, I am not going to stop. I'm not saying I'm going to bulldoze them over. I'll probably try to turn around or find a different way, but I'm not going to be, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be just a sitting duck, especially if I've got my wife or kids in the car.
No, I got my wife and kids in the car. Sorry about you.
That Honda Odyssey is going to go.
Yeah. You're going to find out the real power behind the
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
It's very aerodynamic. They're just going to roll off the top.
Yeah, exactly. They're just going to roll off the top. Absolutely. No, what people, if things really go bad, it's like, I'm sorry, man. Like, I got 4 people to worry about, and you ain't one of them. So I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I can't. I don't have the mental, emotional, physical ability to care about anyone else. I just don't. And there's no reason to.
No, it's a lot. And there's only so much of you to give. Where are you going to put your focus?
Yeah.
Because just like with multitasking, you're not as 100% the more you try to multitask and do. And protecting your family is going to be like that too. I'm bugging out. I don't have a specific place to go, but I know a direction. And there's a reason why I'm on the north side of Houston. And I'm going to avoid DFW area.
Yeah, because fuck Dallas.
I'm talking like me and my brother getting these long talks, like Red Dawn style, like what would happen.
Did you ever see the Red Dawn
remake?
Yeah.
That was all right.
Yeah, but then in the original Red Dawn, it's against China, right?
Yeah.
And then
which is more realistic as of right now.
They changed it to Korea, I think, for the newer one, right?
No, originally it was Russia. Because in the 80s, it was a Cold War type movie.
Was it? I thought it was China originally.
But they had, it was Russia, but Chinese or Korea, or I think it was North Korea, had allied with Russia.
No, yeah, because of the Soviet Union, yeah.
For the most part, it was Russia in the 80s, Patrick Swayze movie. But there was a couple like North Koreans, like small troops and stuff that were there. But I think in the remake, it was only China.
That's interesting because, of course, with China...
I could be wrong. It might have been North Korea in both. But in the remake, it was definitely just Asian.
Yeah.
But in the first one, it was Russia with some. They were like North Korea, or whatever, had like attacked with them.
Yeah.
Because it was a double-edged front. It was like they attacked on both coasts and were working their way in. And that's why the Rockies were like the last safe haven for the Wolverines to like hide out.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, it's going to be interesting. It's not going to be like that anymore. It's going to be something like a nuclear warhead detonated in the upper atmosphere, which works like a widespread EMP.
Right.
So that means this could happen tomorrow. It's the craziest thing. I'm not saying it will. Don't freak out, but be prepared. But it goes back to the grocery stores, the 3 days worth of food, everything I've been saying. And I'm not prepped. I'm not prepared like that. So I'm not one of those guys, but I just kind of think about it. It's good thought exercises. It's a good writing prompt for your brain. But
yeah,
the EMP, if it's detonated, if a nuclear weapon is detonated in the upper atmosphere, then the radiation the fallout from it that sprinkles down is a EMP for everything. So it means your cell phones won't work for, depending on the radius and the size of the warhead, how much megatons or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Your cars, unless they're shielded,
aren't the current day warheads like 40 times more powerful than what we dropped on Hiroshima?
Yeah, but that's just what we're told. We don't even know the maximum that the U.S. or any other country has.
Yeah, that's a good
point. I mean, we're talking like earthenders kind of stuff. Like, depending on the size, like you're talking like, I don't know what the range of an EMP like that, but you can imagine like the entire eastern seaboard just goes dark.
Oh my God. It would be
Americans fighting Americans. You talk about these other countries, at least the Israelis and Palestinians and Ukrainians, at least for the most part, they're united. It'd be Americans fighting Americans. I mean, we can't even have like a hurricane or something without people going and looting stores.
I know, right?
What if we were attacked? Honestly, I think it'd be it sounds bad. It'd be a good little culling of the herd, But we need to get to the stronger people. But the ones who are focused on protecting, friends, family, neighbor, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. If you're out there trying to loot or do whatever, or like, you're on your own at that point. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wouldn't be hard. I don't know. It's freaky.
Yeah, I mean,
just imagine waking up and none of your car won't start. You can't leave. No phones work. I mean, your house, you're not gonna have power.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It is the crazy thing, because like you said, that capability is possible, and so I don't know. It's kind of the weird thing with having, like nuclear weapons, right? Not only in the U.S. but across the world. It's like the scene from The Office where it's been portrayed in a lot of things where like everyone's guns pointed at each other.
Yeah, it keeps.
Yeah, they're like, just back and forth. And so as long as nobody fires, right, everyone's safe.
Stalemate, yeah.
So it's, I don't know.
And I don't know, but it happens more often than you think, and that's where diplomacy comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are steady under pressure, and that's kind of what you want out of leaders of government. And unfortunately, I'm not talking about our military or higher command, but at least our POTUS and everything else. I don't know. It doesn't give me warm and fuzzies when I think about it. And
when people are making fun of him left and right all the time, obviously he's not really displaying a whole lot of strength. And honestly, I mean, we just need President Trump to save us.
There you go.
So
2024, people. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see. It's gonna be one to remember. I'm telling you, man. Next year, when it's election time, we got to do like a live stream. Like
we've been saying that for like 3 years.
I know.
How long have we been doing this? 2 now?
Yeah, something like that. But this will be the first like presidential election where we're doing like the YouTube. So we got to do like an all night thing, like live stream.
Get people get shit faced.
Well, yeah, duh. It's gonna be fantastic. People will love it. So, but we didn't really get into the Kanye Kim stuff, right? I'm gonna save it for our next recording because I do think it's a good thing for us to talk about. We're right around the hour mark, so we're at the sweet spot. So we'll save it, right? If you're curious, and this is how I'll just say the story that we're gonna talk about has to do with the dynamic of husband and wife and the importance of the mother and the father in the home for children. Something we have talked about before, but I think this story brings an interesting aspect to that. So I'm just gonna save it for next time. So
a little teaser,
exactly, little bite for you. A little appetizer, right? Come back for the main course. Okay, so I don't know. So anyway, make sure you like and subscribe. Right, again, hit the notification down below. Right, you can check us out on Apple and Spotify if you prefer the audio version. It will be up eventually when Taylor remembers.
I'm like 2 behind. Whatever, sue me.
We'll see you later.
Later.